Huh? I decided to roll into it. What? Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If I can have your attention for a moment. My name is Tim Patrikas. I'm one of 3 members of the Board of Selectmen. Our public meeting is scheduled to begin at 6 o'clock, and that's the bewitching hour, as it were. However, we still have people who are lining up to register to vote. We want to make sure that we accommodate those who have come so that they can register and vote when we get to the vote section. So we're going to delay the start of the meeting until everybody who's here is registered. While we wait, I just thought I'd go over the ground rules. Tonight, we're going to have Mr. Knorr come up and open the floor for nominations of a moderator. We'll accept nominations from the floor. Once nominations are in, we'll close and vote for a moderator. After that, the town clerk will read the legal notice that was published in the JI, published on the website. Our agenda tonight is limited to one item, that item being the appropriation of funds that the Board of Finance approved after the Board of Selectmen have asked for funds to restore the transfer station hours to 4 days a week. So we will limit comments to just that one item about the transfer of the $49,658. Brian's going to give you the real number. How much?
$49,658.
$49,658 to restore the operating hours. So we are going to ask you to limit your comments to just that action item of transferring, but we'll get that started as soon as all the residents have registered and we open and close nominations and read the legal notice. So thank you for your patience.
I gotta send flowers to her.
Oh yeah, it must be so.
I'm not sure.
Certainly also.
Yeah, you know, I got a note today from this girl Diane that works in the town hall there, and she said, well, my mother died, now I'll be in the
Yeah, I mean, I'm over it. I'll find it.
I'm going to see why you can't do it. You should be able to. Very loud.
Me and Brian did, I just paid for
looks like everybody's essentially going to go ahead and support. Now, we do nominations and read the legal notice of legislative. Go ahead. That's great. Now, applause. We need one of those guys to come out and get the audience going, like a warm-up act.
Thank you all for coming today. We appreciate it. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Notice, please.
A special town meeting will be held at Somers Town Hall, 600 Main Street, Somers, Connecticut, on Thursday, September 20th, beginning at 6 p.m. 1, elect a moderator. 2, to vote on an appropriation of $49,658 from the general fund to restore the original hours of operation of the landfill located at 127 Egypt Road. 3, adjournment. Dated at Somers, Connecticut, the 10th day of September 2018, Board of Selectmen, Mr. Knorr, Ms. Devlin, Mr. Patricus, publication September 12th.
Thank you, Ann. The next item is to elect a moderator.
Move to I nominate Tim Patricus.
Any additional nominations?
He wants a second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Tim, it's all yours.
Any opposed?
Any
Sorry,
opposed?
anybody opposed?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Nord. Thank you, Board of Selectmen. So I'd like to open the floor now for any comments that anybody would like to make. We'd ask you to step forward to the microphone, state your name and your address, and we'd like to open the floor for any public comments.
No, it's about the money.
On board, please.
Good evening. My name is Chris Teasing. I live at 32 Eaglebrook Drive. My comment is, I have a large family, and I have a very dynamic work schedule. And changing back to the original hours would be very helpful. My young family, I generate a lot of trash, and all families do, but I know I do. And I think it's a small appropriations. I think it's worthwhile to the community, and I think we should move forward with the plan as many of us would like to reinstate the original hours. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Hi, my name is Steve Getman. I live at 19 School Street in Somersville. I would like to see the dump hours restored to the original time. However, if the town is interested in saving money, perhaps instead of 4 days a week or 3.5 days, there could be a Tuesday all day, Saturday all day, half day Sunday. This way you wouldn't have to deal with the Monday holidays, whatever else. Time would be spaced out more between dump usage. And I think that might save a little bit of money in the long run if it is agreeable. Thank you.
Thank you. next year's budget planning. Comments like that are gonna be right on the spot to help us figure out what to do. This year, what we decided to do, because the feedback that the Board of Selectmen heard, we've already made a motion, it was back in, I believe, early August meeting. Made a motion, the motion was approved to restore the 4 full days and asked the Board of Finance for the appropriation so that we could fund that. The Board of Finance approved that appropriation, but because the dollar amount has to come to town meeting. So those comments we need to hear as we get into next year's budget planning session, what makes the most sense to balance these needs. So I appreciate it, but tonight we're looking at full restoration for the balance of this fiscal year through June 30, and whether or not we want to spend the $49,000 to do that. Mr. Kaczynski. Sure.
It's gotta be about the appropriation.
In your budget this year, in your budget this year, which I have a copy of here, you proposed increased fees, and you have an additional $20,000 in the budget. So that is from the new income that was going to come in. So prior to the budget vote, you basically knew at that time you were going to increase fees, but unfortunately you never told us at the town hearing, or at the town budget hearing. Now my question at this point is, as I look at this, you're increasing the hours basically 16 hours a week. That's going to be your addition. At 16 hours a week, which means you're going to open up on Monday, and you're going to open up on Sunday morning. At $25 an hour, that comes to $850 a week, which comes to roughly $18,000 a year to pay for the personnel who's at the dump. You also have a part-time equipment operator there who is there usually at the closing hours to pick up all the rubbish, and he is already on the payroll of the Highway Department, Department of Public Works, where you got like $606,000 of salary in that account. So my question is, it appears like you only need $18,000. You did charge us $20,000 because of the new fees. So why do you need $50,000?
Can you please answer that and address it?
Thank you. That's a great question, and several of us asked that during the process of the restoration. So I'm going to ask Mr. Wissinger to come up. Brian Wissinger is our assistant controller, assistant director of finance for the town. So Brian, I know you have the homework that was given to the Board of Finance so they could wrestle with the same question, please.
So to answer the question about the appropriation, you are correct. The salaries itself is $19,695. However, moving people from creating the 2 day or adding the 2 days puts the people based on the Affordable Care Act over 30 hours per week of working. They become a full-time employee. So then you have to offer them health insurance. Health insurance is $24,456. Social Security goes up, Medicare goes up, that's $1,507. And then you have any overtime increases as well for days that you may not be able to staff it with these employees and have to bring Public Works full-time staff in to cover a day. So we added $4,000 for overtime. That's how we got to the $49,000.
Thank you, Brian. Other comments? Yes, sir.
My name is Rich Brown. I live 125 Watch Oak Road, Summers, and I've heard a lot of comments. They call it the dump. They call a lot of things. I consider it the recycling center. It's one of the best run in the state. Think about all the places we have in that center to put things. And now we're asked to cram it down into a few hours. Inherently, it's going to lead to less recycling. You can see that. So I recommend we open it up again. It's a recycling center, and that's not to be taken lightly in this day and age. So, something to think about.
Thank you. Mr. Rolla, just for clarification, clarification, officially it's the transfer station, that's what the town refers to it
We
as.
call it the transfer station and recycling center.
Transfer station and recycling center, and a lot gets lost in the vernacular because what it used to be, and when my kids were little, we used to go watch the seatbelts there, and it's good that it's not like that anymore, but I appreciate your comments, and we try to stay consistent, but sometimes we drift back to the 25 to 30-year-old terms, but you're right. Yep.
50-year-old term.
We used to get volunteers from prison too.
I know, and we can't do that anymore because of all the different states. I don't want to get into that tonight. 5 years here, we'll go talk. Other comments? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, please.
My name is Susan Peck. I live at 91 Sky Ridge Drive. Just kind of a question. If we did not vote to resume the old dump recycling center hours, I had read that the recycling center would be open an extra day a week in the months of October and April.
Yeah.
Does that mean there will be 4 weekdays, like where you're gonna make sure it's 4 weeks in each month because of whatever, a holiday, or if you could address that?
Yeah, great question. When the recommendation was made to reduce the hours so that we could fit within the guidelines of keeping our budget in line, we made a motion and voted on that motion. This probably goes back to January or February in one of the other public meetings. We made a motion to ensure that when residents are doing spring and fall cleanup, we at least had the transfer station open to address the brush concerns. So at that point, we made a motion that I believe it was May. April, thank you.
October, Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoons in April and October that the transfer station would be open anyway. So if by some weird quirk of fate tonight, the group here decides to not forward that funding, that the transfer station would still be open in October and April. October of this year, April of next year, each Sunday afternoon, noon to 4?
1 to 4.
1 to 4 p.m. So that's the way it's set up today if we don't pass this motion. Does that clarify? From the back of the room, please.
My name is Mike Reardon. I live at 12 McCullough Drive, and just on what you were just talking about there, I have a line of maple trees around my property that is front, side, and back. I'm usually cleaning up leaves at this point right now, which you're talking those 2 days being basically spring and fall cleaning. But I have the neighbor across the street that has oaks, doesn't clean their yard.
That's what the April dates are for.
But it doesn't cover that, because I'm taking care of my business in, which should be right now, but we're running a little behind, and my business is done. And then when I have to take care of their business, I'm shut out. So where am I putting this stuff? In the street or back in their yard. So that's putting me into a position.
I've got a very similar situation. I understand
So
what you mean.
that's one thing with the whole thing that's going on. And as far as opening it back up, it needs to be opened back up, because there's people in this town that aren't even here that use a landscaper or use somebody to take care of something for them, and they're paying for it, and they're paying no attention to what's going on. And then the guy that's working for them is, again, there's probably plenty of them here in the room, going to be shut out from taking care of the people that aren't here tonight. This is going to a vote, I assume. I just found out about this a half an hour ago, and have asked many times what's going on. I heard it was in the paper last night. It's really not enough time for the townspeople to get here. That what is the vote percentage that needs to be voted on tonight for this to change?
So for this particular motion tonight, it's just the folks in the room. So you don't have to override the.
So the folks in the room are gonna make that happen.
Folks in the room get to decide that.
Because in other municipalities, there's a percentage of the town that need to vote on it.
We're nicer than that, so
Okay.
you read on Facebook.
All right.
So, all I'll say is that we published the notice, I believe, on September 12th. Was the first publication, was the legal notice.
Okay.
As soon as it got through the Board of Selectmen meeting, we had it posted on the town website. So we do our best to get the information out. But to your point about the fall cleanup, spring cleanup, I'm right there with you. We have to do a balance. And sometimes we have to balance convenience against needs. When we're trying to figure out what to fund in the budget, from senior service, first responders, fire, school, education, meals, all the things that we do, Unfortunately, the transfer station looked more like, the transfer station hours on Sunday looked more like a convenience than a need to us based on the information we had at that time. So we made the decision to follow the recommendation from DPW to limit the hours. And then our balance motion was, well, gee, let's open it up for at least, April and October to help with cleanup. I agree it wasn't perfect, and that's why we got the room here. So we tried.
Okay, I have another question.
Go ahead.
That, how many of you folks that are on the board live in town, or how many out-of-towners, or?
Everybody
lives in town,
We have
so
to.
it all has to do with you too, that you need to go to.
And I actually own a permit that I paid $10 extra for also, so I get it.
Okay, and just something that I'm gonna open up here to you folks, that if you had sent a simple letter or a postcard like you do with the town budget, people would know about what's going on here. That, I'll tell you right now, if somebody has a phone or an internet to pull up the town website, that everybody in this room should be paying $25 for a permit, because if you look under most frequently asked questions in the town website, it's listed as $25. So by Connecticut state law, everybody here is due a refund, which I have number 1640.
Look at that, probably right. Well, it says last year's permit. Hold up.
I paid my 35, but I'm just putting it out there.
I paid mine with a check, so I've got proof.
But the website is incorrect.
Okay,
There
thanks for
are
that.
5 websites, however.
Pardon me?
There are 5 town websites for the transfer station.
But I'm right on Summers.
Yeah, so I will tell you that
website.
one of the things that I, and I'm sure I share with the rest of the board that we've learned from this, is that despite our attempts at communication, they stink, okay? So we haven't done a great job of being able to reach out, and we're working on how do we do that better. And, we try with signs out front, we try with legal notices, we try with website. We understand that not everybody's gonna proactively go look at the Summerstown website to find out what we're talking about.
Quick question, was there a sign in the dump that this was going on tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good idea.
Any other thing? That somebody didn't do their job, because that's still in the website that it's $25.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Yes.
There are 5.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carlene Josh. I live up on Stafford Road, and I just want to let you guys know, a lot of people work on Thursdays till 5 or 6, so to ask your boss to leave an hour early to go to the dump is ridiculous. A lot of people work on Saturdays, so when can we go? We're carting kids around on the weekends for us younger people. We can't leave work to make the dump for 4 o'clock. Most people work till 5, 6 o'clock at night.
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Shannon Dow, I live on Bilton Road. My biggest concern is that you guys raised the fees that we're paying and then cut our services. So I feel as though it's kind of disrespectful. You asked us to pay you extra, and then you cut our services.
I understand. So, I arm wrestled with Mr. Nor on this one a little bit, because we took a look at the transfer station and how much money it costs us to run. The sticker fees are never going to cover the cost of operating the transfer station. But as I said to Bud, this is a service the town expects. We can't look at everything from a profit and loss standpoint. However, what we can do is take a look at the permit fees. That permit fee had not changed in
Over 10 years.
over 10 years. And we felt that there was room there to help offset the cost of the general operating budget for the town, not the transfer station. So the fees that are collected from that permit go into the general fund. They don't go direct to the transfer station. The transfer station is funded out of the general fund. If we wanted to charge folks simply for use of the transfer station, this passage alone, to open up on Sundays and Mondays, would cost about $100 per family that uses the transfer station. We don't think that's fair either. So again, it's an article of balance. We wanted to increase that fee a little to help offset some of the costs that we have in town for everything, and it's just part of the balance we have to do as we wrestle through the budget.
Catherine Mashak, 54 Springfield Road. I just have a comment to that. There used to be a charge for a lot of different things, like $25 for anything with a screen, and now all that stuff is free. So the fees, that schedule has changed a lot, and I just want to remind people, and I wasn't aware of it till recently, so thank you.
Thanks for that. I know the last couple of times I took Russian, I thought I was sneaking in, and Todd told me I don't have to pay anymore. Thought I was getting away with it. Any other questions or comments?
Steve Krasinski from Wells Road, Summers. I'll just comment on something that Tim just said. You said you had to increase the fees to help the general fund.
That's not what I said. I said the fees go into the general fund. The fees go
Okay.
into the general fund.
Well, folks, you hear whichever way you want to, I guess, huh? Right now, this town, as reported in July, has a 14% surplus that is now going up as the end of July to 18%. So therefore, there's really no need to increase any fees because right now, you're overtaxed. The surplus is growing, and it's going to grow next year because they under-budgeted the state aid that's coming into this year's budget. So the comment about you needed it is really false.
Didn't get it. Not true.
We watched the Patriots game last weekend, they visited the replay. Let's go to the tape. Said it goes to the general fund, and we made the decision on the best information we had at the time we were creating the budget. I'll stand by that. Thank you. Next comment, please.
You did not have the best information. We have, but you didn't.
No, you don't have the right one.
This is like the walk of shame over here. So I'm Drew Kukuchika, 196 Watchot Road. I just wanted to first thank you guys for listening to the townspeople. I'm a little overwhelmed by how many people are here, and I'm assuming you guys are too. Clearly, this is significant enough for us in terms of town services that we feel important to, have our voices heard. So I guess I just say off the bat that employee support have been restored in the hours. One of my concerns or comments I just want to leave with you guys today is that I do think there's a need to improve the transparency here because I don't think many people in this room and the folks that showed up on voting day knew that this was part of the budget. And I believe the town finance officer was quoted in the paper in saying that he was aware of the fee increase, but he did not know that the hours were also being cut. So to me, it just kind of shows that, even though the people are doing their best efforts and you guys are, between social media and whatnot and improving your, opportunities to inform the townspeople, there's still a lot of people that don't know what's going on. And I don't know, somebody made reference to a mailer on the town budget, and I've been in town for quite a long time, and I'm not sure I get one for the Board of Education. I'm not sure I've ever seen one for the town budget. But I think through this, I've learned that, myself, I need to be more engaged and understand, where the money's going in the town and what changes are coming from year to year before we cast our vote. So, again, I just want to thank you guys for supporting our voices here, and, we hope that this goes through, so, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I will respond to that by saying one takeaway that we have is that our communication needs to improve. The documents that get mailed out, the things that we put online are summary documents. And if you know how to navigate to the website, you can find the minutes, but again, the minutes are summaries also. So what we're trying to gauge is what are those hot buttons that the townspeople need to know about so that we can highlight them better and do a better job of getting those out. So we are practicing that. Since this all came out, we now videotape meetings like this one. Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance meetings are all videotaped. So if people are working late or they can't come to meetings, those are not only streamed live, but they're on the website for you to take a look at later. I get comments, people say, well, I don't have time to watch a video. But somehow they've got time to post angry comments on Facebook 42 hours a week. Figure it out, folks. We're doing our best. If you've got suggestions on how we can improve communications, I'd love to hear them because that's one of the big things we're working on this year. So, yes, sir.
I don't have Facebook, but I read.
Yep, and we try to get that stuff out in the paper. We try to use, Jackie's been great at the Journal Enquirer of covering the town lately so that we get articles in the JI. So we attempt. It's the best we can do. Any other comments related to the transfer? Or are we safe to move to vote? One more. Mr. Radowitz?
James Radowitz, Gulf Road, Summers. You said you had notices. How many different notices did you have? The only thing I saw was the one last night in the JI. How many notices did you actually put in the JI or other?
I can ask the town clerk the dates it was in the JI.
There was actually a legal notice, as I mentioned, published on September 12th. There was an article in the newspaper last night.
That's the only one I saw.
Right, and the legal notice, it's on Facebook, it's on our town page.
I know it was in the minutes, it was discussed, so it was,
The minutes
it was
of
in
the
the
Board of
minutes.
Can I make a suggestion? You have the bulletin board next to the bank.
It is
You,
posted.
there's something out there, okay. When did that go up there?
Probably the end of last week.
Okay.
The town board in front of the town hall.
No, I'm talking about the bulletin board next to the church, next to the bank.
The green board, that's a community board.
Okay, so you can't use that at all?
No, we have it booked for the community.
Okay.
So we tried.
Richard alias Spider Carey, 8 Kibbe Grove Road, Somers, Connecticut. I've heard enough comments here. I think we all have our mind made up. We're getting off the subject. I would like to move for the vote.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second to move the vote. I got a second. Any other comments? Hearing none. Okay. And what's the question that I got asked? Do I need to read it?
No, just,
All
the
those in
vote is
favor
to
of-
appropriate the monies and to restore the hours of the land.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this carefully. Listen up, because you guys know. All those in favor of making a transfer in the amount of
$49,658.
$49,658 in order to restore the transfer station operating hours to 4 days a week, signify by raising your hands, please. Is anybody opposed to this motion? Excellent. Motion carries by a preponderance of the yeas and the noes. Before everybody goes, I'd just like to say thank you for coming, thank you for being civil, thank you for being coherent and helpful. This is great.
When does it start?
We're going to talk about that at our Board of Selectmen meeting, so you'll need to stick around for that. I don't know yet. We couldn't decide on a start date until it was appropriated. Crazy stuff. I need a motion to adjourn this special meeting. Thank you. Do I have a second? Motion carries. Thank you.
I'll never touch it.